All right, welcome to Steelers Rewind. That was actually a song that was written about 12 years ago by a band I was in called Chained Uprise. Trying something different this week, and we're trying something different this week with Steelers Rewind as well. We didn't get to do Monday night show, so uh, we can blame that on the Pirates. Me and Philip both had some Pirate obligations this week, but we're gonna talk real quick about the Seahawks game. Then we're gonna go into the Patriots matchup um, today at 1 o'clock. So before we do that, before I bring Philip on, A Plus Roofing, great company here in Pittsburgh. If you need a new roof, you need some exterior work done, call A Plus Roofing at 412-515-5466. A Plus Roofing is your Pittsburgh roofing company. Call, get your free estimate today. You can check them out at www.aplusroofingexteriors.com. Great company. You need some work done, especially the winter coming up. If you have any problems, get to them now before they get real busy. Let's bring our co-host in, Philip. How are you doing, Philip?
Doing great. How you doing, John?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
That's a great song, by the way. I really like that a lot.
Thank you. It was 12 years ago. I read about 10 songs. That was I think the best of the bunch. So Chained Uprise, we lasted about a year, and some health problems by the singer, which was me. So but it happens. It was good to know. It's something that it's almost like having knowing that I wrote a song. It feels good. So I play it every
super cool. It really is a good song. So
but let's get back into, last week, man, we didn't get to talk about this like we would have liked to. Like I said, I had Monday night. I was at the Pirate game. Tuesday night, you got to see Skeens pitch. And then we fell through. And by the way, everybody that's out there, I'm going to be getting the details settled down, but we may be doing this again next Sunday. We'll have our normal show tomorrow night talking about the Patriots game, how it went. And then next Sunday morning, we could be live from Shiloh Place, where we'll be talking about the Vikings game, which starts at 9:30 our time, which is crazy for you Pittsburghers out there drinking. And speaking of that, if you guys are waking up getting hungover, I got coffee. Drink some coffee this morning, man. You get some coffee before you start drinking again. About 20 years ago, man, maybe even 10 years ago, I'd have beer right now. I'd be like, I'm getting ready for the game right now, but it ain't happening at 51. But Philip, last week's game, man, how put it in a quick nutshell, how you felt about it.
Lack of preparation, could not contain their running game, could not contain Sam Darnold. Just a massive letdown. Offensive line continued to not play well. Did not give Aaron Rodgers the time he needed to make some big plays. Very, very disappointing.
I can't say it any different than that. And the fact that the Steelers as a team cannot run and cannot stop the run is like Twilight Zone-ish to me, because it's like the two things that we've always been known for. Our leading rusher is under 90 yards for the year. 2 games in a row we haven't stopped the run. And the Patriots got some young guys in that backfield, so it's gonna be a tough game today. And I think Drake May is coming into his own. It's gonna be as we put the final nail on this coffin with the Seahawks game, though. The kickoff return, that's where the lack of preparation, I think. How does you have a young rookie backer, I understand. And let's not lie, the kickoff rules have changed in both college and pro over the last 3 years, where it's almost hard as a fan sometimes. Like, what is the rule now? Because in college football, you can let the ball just hit as long as it hits the end, falls in the end zone. You can just put your hand up and that's it. You don't have to touch the ball, have to catch the ball, anything.
So you have that box, that 20-yard box, the landing zone, they call it. And that's where basically the ball bounced, right in front of Caleb Johnson. And I know that he couldn't get to it, but, he's been taught that it's a live ball. And he didn't go after it. He didn't pursue it. And then there you have it. They score a touchdown. It reminded me of Plexico Burris. Remember when he caught that pass his rookie season? He made a really good play.
Oh yeah, and he
And
just
then
fumbled the ball.
he was
just
on the
dropped it.
ground, and he got up and he spiked the ball because he was so excited he made a good play, and it was a live ball.
Yeah, he was thinking the college. He was still he still felt the college. He still was playing the college rules.
Yeah,
he still thought
so
he was
these rookies have to understand that when you're coming into pros, and I know they're being taught this, but they have to remember that, the rules are different, and it's time to, for them to understand this is what I have to do.
Now going into this week's game, 1-1, 2 games that not very excited about either of them, especially after the way the Jets played against the Bills last week. So I think it shows you how far this defense is struggling right now. What I know, me and you were sort of on the same, we're on the same, I guess, the same wing of this is with Mike Tomlin, that we both, we appreciate the fact that he's won this many years in a row. But I mean, are you wearing? I mean, like you just said, lack of preparation, and I agree with you. I think it's 2 weeks in a row. Highest paid defense in the league. I understand that we had trouble stopping the run last year, and we went after Derek Harmon. He's been hurt, so basically one of the stopgaps that we tried to figure out our run defense hasn't played yet. Are you getting more on the other side though, where Tomlin's gotta? I'm feeling this way. He's gotta start. I mean, the Tomlinisms are getting old, man. I admit it. Like I'm getting to that point now. Come on, man. Like this is, the Seahawks are not. They shouldn't be putting 31 points up at Acrisure. I mean, do you agree with everything I've said there?
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm gonna see this through the lens of Art II. You mentioned the highest paid defense in the NFL. These are, and keep in mind, there are injuries. There's some key injuries, but it's still the highest paid defense in the NFL and labeled as historical. So right now they're playing historically bad, especially considering the Steelers' history the last 50 plus years and having, one of the most dominant defenses consistently in these last 50 years. They have to step up. They have to be men. They have to play with anger and yet play smart. Okay. You can't be getting tossed around like rag dolls on the defensive line. You can't be getting beat in the middle of the field, with these quick slants, or what you call these choice routes, perhaps. These guys have to play smart. And I'm also understanding that there's a lack of communication. One of the players said that it's so loud, at Acrisure Stadium that they can't hear each other communicate. Well, use some hand signals. Do what you have to do in order to know where, someone like a Wilson needs to be, or where, say like what's his name? Jack. This is how I remember his name. Jack Sawyer, by the song Tom Sawyer by Rush. They have to know by now where they have to be, because they've been in training camp since like the end of July. They had mini camp before that. They had, I'm not there. I don't know, but it's my opinion that they should know what they're doing, where they need to be, no matter what they're seeing from the offense.
Well, they're professionals, man. They gotta know by now. Right. They gotta. I mean, and I know one of the downfalls of Tomlin, and I can't argue it, is he does not hire coordinators that basically have their own ideas and what they want to bring to the table. It's basically like yes men, and Terrell Austin just looks lost right now. I don't know who's making the calls on that defense, but I mean, the runs are giving up. I'm talking like, I would say 7 out of 10 carries. It looks like they're not even touching the guy till 3-4 yards before they even make contact on the guy. The holes are wide open. Kenneth Walker looked like the old Kenneth Walker I remembered in college last week, and you haven't seen that from him in a while. And no. like I foreshadowed before, you got a couple of young guys. I mean, Travion Henderson hasn't exploded yet, but I mean, this kid, if he's looking at the way the Steelers have been giving up rushing yards, if I'm Travion Henderson, I'm looking at getting that ball and, having a huge game today.
He and Stevenson are going to be a massive threat.
I agree. I agree.
Um,
And if I'm
they're
New
they're
England,
going
I
to be
mean,
massive, but they're going to have a tough time stopping those two.
and they're going to set it up for
Um,
May. And Drake May is not a bad quarterback.
no, he
Once
isn't.
you put 8 guys in the box, Drake May is going to beat you. And he got a couple of nice receivers there in New England as well. So
Yep.
it's going to be a unique. And they're coming off 2 games this year where they played a pretty tough Las Vegas team. They only lost 20-13. And then they beat a Dolphins team at Miami last week, and we saw Miami Thursday night hanging with Buffalo. Um, I'm not saying Miami's a good team by no means; they're 0-3, but I mean the Patriots look like they can score some points. Put it that way. So,
Right.
um,
Well, here's what I'm seeing from Drake May. Um, his passing's accurate. Seems like he's making some pretty decent decisions, especially when he's being pressured, and he also has some wheels. So, like you had mentioned earlier, 8 men in a box. He can roll out right, he can roll out left, and then if he sees a hole while he's being pressured, he can take off and get 15 yards. So the Steelers are going to have their hands full today on defense. And keep in mind, too, the Steelers' defense, from what I understand, run defense is 31st in the league.
I can't believe it's not 32nd. Being honest, I don't know who's worse.
Well,
But
you know who's 32nd, John?
who's that?
The New England Patriots.
There's a good segue right there. So maybe today's the day that Jalen Warren explodes. I'm looking at the Steelers stats today, and I was like mesmerized at the fact that Gainwell's second on a team in yards with 39. Warren leads with 85 on 25 carries, only a 3.4 average. Caleb Johnson has 2 carries for -1. Our leading receiver is Jalen Warren. So I mean, it's a unique. He don't lead the team is led in catches by Jonnu Smith, but he only has 42 yards on his 9 catches. So the
Yeah,
Steelers have
right.
a very I don't know, man. Like their offense is basically, to me, besides I think Rodgers being a stronger force at quarterback, it's still the same offense, man. It's still the same dink and dunk. We don't have enough time for Rodgers to set up and look at that middle. I mean, the middle of the field has been lost in Pittsburgh for the last I don't know how many years. We don't use the middle of the field. We use little swings, we use quick outs. Rodgers is the quarterback that could use the middle of the field like Ben used to do, but I don't know if he has the
Oh,
time.
yeah,
But this offensive
right.
line, I don't think the time is there for him with a 41-year-old that doesn't have much mobility left. I don't know how many
Mm-mm.
more hits he's going to be able to take. It could be this could be, I mean, this could literally be, and I hate to be the pessimist, but this could be the start of a really rough dissension for the Steelers this year, especially if Rodgers goes down. I don't think the team is built to do really anything on offense. And if the defense can't pick up its part of the slack, which everybody thought they would, this team could be in some dire straits because not that the schedule is hard here at the beginning, but if you don't take advantage of it, man, you're gonna once you get into the divisional games. And I mean, thank goodness. I mean, I hate to say an injury helps us, but thank goodness Joe Burrow went down. That gives you just you got Jake Browning to
He's
mess
a
with. But
good quarterback, Jake Browning, right? He
that's what I
might be one
mean.
of the better second-string quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
But what I want to
Um,
see today, Philip, I want to see a team that can stop the run and make a quarterback beat us, and then I want to see if a quarterback can beat us. Which I I I honestly think that's the part that I don't think a quarterback can beat us singly. Right, I think our secondary is solid. Um, I think I want to see a quarterback beat us. I don't see a run game beat us because I mean Darnold did great last week. Don't get me wrong, but it was because of the run game beating us. I mean Darnold had
right,
extra
right.
time and Darnold's not a bad quarterback. I mean, for other people out there that for a first round pick, everybody thought he was a bust. I mean, this guy's reinvented himself, and you got to appreciate that.
They're missing him in Minnesota. I know that much already. But I
But
have to backtrack on myself because I gave an incorrect stat. The Patriots run defense is third in the league. It's their pass defense is 32nd. Okay.
oh, okay.
And then another thing to keep in mind, folks, going into this game, the Steelers and the Patriots lead the league in missed tackles. So, John, I think this could actually be a free-for-all of the game, to be honest with you. I think we're going to see a lot of points being scored. This game is also going to be won in the trenches, like you were alluding to. not being able to stop the run, not being able to, prevent Rodgers from getting rushed and getting pressured and getting sacked. Those are the things that have to change today. I mean, if they can perform not at the level that we want them to perform, but if they can just step it up by 2 notches, 3 notches, then the Steelers can be very effective. And as I mentioned, with the Patriots having, the worst pass defense in the league, you got to take advantage of some of these guys back there. That's a young backfield. And plus, their right cornerback, who might be filling in again today, if you match up DK Metcalf with him, DK can have a big game.
I agree. And there's one guy on their defense, and I'm going to add him to our stage right now, that you got to look out for, and it's Harold Landry.
Yeah.
This guy's a beast. 3.5 sacks. They line him up all over the field. This is the guy that the offensive line is going to have to pay attention to, where he's coming from. We've already seen Will McDonald have his day with us, because he basically was blitzing from the corners, coming up the middle. And this is what Harold Landry can do. He's basically like a safety body with a linebacker. He's a linebacker with a safety body that can just fly around the field. And 3.5 sacks already. That's my keys to the game really are Harold Landry. You got to stop Harold Landry on defense. Give Rodgers time to take advantage of the worst pass defense in the league. And for Pittsburgh on defense, I'm not ready to give up on this guy. I know he's taking a lot of hits right now on social media, but TJ Watt, I thought last week he started making some plays. Maybe not the splash plays we're used to, but he was making some plays in the backfield. I think he's the guy's getting double, triple team, man. We need one of them young guys. Now that Highsmith is out, especially, we need a Sawyer or a Herbig to take advantage. And Herbig's done it at times. You got to take advantage of the single blocking you're going to get. I mean, the guys on the opposite side are getting one-on-one blocking with no running back there, because the running back's going to come over and chip Watt. It's going to be, if he's going to get triple team basically. So those are my two keys. If we stop Landry and Watt has a game, I think that the Steelers are going to perform well.
The Steelers have to stop Milton Williams. He has, I think, 2 sacks. I can't remember how many sacks he was or that he has. No, he has 1 sack, but he has like 9 pressures. Okay, so he can really, explode through the offensive line and get to Rodgers. So he's also a threat. But you're 100% about Harold Landry III. He is so good. And I'm expecting him to have a very, very good game today against the Steelers, against the offense. Another thing to consider with you talking about TJ Watt, I think he's going to have a very, very good game today. Their right tackle is Morgan Moses, okay? He's a veteran. He's 34 years old, but he had 3 false starts last week, okay? And for a veteran who's been playing in the league for, call it 13, 14 years, maybe his 15th season, he can't be making those mistakes, And then speaking of penalties, the Patriots had 12 penalties last week. So they're young. They're not very disciplined, it seems. Coach Vrabel's trying his best to create a culture of winning football with young guys and a handful of free agents. So when you see these little things taking place, this is what people like TJ Watt need to take advantage of, and having Rodgers to Metcalf, that combination, taking advantage of his name is I keep looking at my screen here because I'm not the best remembering names, boom, 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 especially on a Sunday morning with like 3 sips of coffee. But Alex Austin filled in at right quarterback last week, and they targeted him.
Their secondary is their weakness. They have a lot of young guys, Jalen Hawkins, a couple of them other young guys. And before we get going, before we continue, TC Javor, by the way, said Sawyer's going to have shine today. And Philip, you're new to Sports Bible. I'm going to explain. TC Javor and me worked together about 10 years now. TC, but he came up. we came up with the sport. I came up with the sports Bible name. He came up. He's the logo. He's the logo maker. The SV.
Sweet. What's up, TC?
He's a great guy. TC. They just had. He has what 3 kids now. TC. He has a pair of twins. A lot of young kids he has. So
Wow.
he's a younger guy, but TC always welcome on the show. But I agree with you, TC. I think Sawyer is ready to shine too. I think when I watch him out there, the dude looks like a robot. He looks like he's built like a beast. He's a beast, man. He's a tall dude. He reminds me sort of like a Trey Hendrickson, the way he's built. Just a big dude, muscular body. I think he's going to be the guy that I think he has more up end. He has more higher potential than Herbig. I love Herbig. Don't get me wrong, but Sawyer's the guy. If you build him into what he can be, I think he's going to be him and Watt are going to be a great combination down the road. And I think, and it sort of comes to my point with Highsmith. I wanted Highsmith to be dealt in the offseason. I thought that was the time to do it. I thought Highsmith, if you can get a 4th-round pick for him, anything, I thought that he free up his salary, maybe use it on a receiver, which we still haven't grabbed the receiver yet, but I still am shocked that we don't have,
I definitely agree with what you said about Highsmith. Now, here's what I'm thinking in the back of my mind, my 55-year-old mind that's not working well anymore. Jack Sawyer, Will Howard from your dreaded, foe, The Ohio State University. Sorry, John.
I am a Michigan guy, I admit it, but it's all right.
I know you are.
It's all right. It's all right, though. I appreciate the
Michigan has, to this day, the coolest helmets in college football. You can't beat what they wear. Yes, but anyway, those 2 guys are very close. And with Will Howard still being out, I know he's paying attention to offensive game film. But I'm sure that they're probably working together. And Will Smart is a super smart guy. That was such a great pick at the 6th round.
Will Howard, you mean? Will Howard.
Yeah, Will Howard. Yeah. What did I say?
You called him Will Smart, but you said Will Smart. So
I meant to say Will Howard. Yes, again, I'm 4 sips of coffee in right now. I apologize.
No.
But he and Jack Sawyer are super close. And he might be like pointing things out that he's seeing to Sawyer when it comes down to opposing offenses. I don't know, but I'm sure that's happening, because these guys want to win. These young guys are, they're putting their stamp. They want to put their stamp on, their role that they're playing, the Steelers roster.
No, Philip, today, if the Steelers do overextend themselves to try to protect the run, like to try to stop the run. Stevenson, like Ramondre Stevenson, he only had, the Patriots ain't really running the ball any better than the Steelers. He only has 69 yards as their leading rusher. But if they sell out to stop the run, you still got to worry about Kayshon Boutte. You got to worry about Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper. They got some talent on the outside. So this is the game, though. I'd like to see the Steelers maybe make that. Like, hey, we're gonna stop the run. We're gonna go man to man and see if the Jalen Ramseys are ready to take guys out of the game. Would you rather see Drake May would you rather see the Steelers put the keys in Drake May's hands than let the run game run all over us?
I've been thinking about this, how they're going to game plan. I have a feeling that they're going to be, utilizing Stevenson and Henderson, to be honest with you. But you mentioned some really good wide receivers. Stephon Diggs, everybody knows who he is. This Booty kid, he's from LSU. He's from Louisiana. He's got a very good Cajun last name, French Cajun last name. He's got a lot of speed, and if he's running clean routes and the timing's there, he's a threat. Like I was saying earlier, and this is kind of where I'm stuck with this matchup. I do think the Patriots are going to put up a good 34 points. They're capable of doing it against the way the Steelers defense has been playing the last 2 weeks. Okay. That's my fear. And I do think that that's their ceiling is going to be about 34 points. I think the floor, if the Steelers can play hard, play well, have minimal penalties, no roughing the passers, no PIs, no defensive holds, that kind of stuff, then I think the floor can probably be down to as low as 17 points for the Patriots. So what do you think I'm correct in saying that, John?
I think if the Steelers take the run game out of the game early on, the Patriots know, okay, maybe 3 drives are like, all right, we're gonna have to start throwing the ball. I think then the Steelers got them where they want them. I think then you could let the Herbigs, the Sawyers, you can set up some. That's I think it's when the Steelers defense plays its best whenever they know we got the run game in hand. Like they ain't running on us now. That's when the Steelers do their best. They haven't done it
Right.
this year yet. I mean,
No.
Brees Hall was running in the third, fourth quarter still like he was early in the game. Last week, I mean, Kenneth Williams 3rd and 19. I mean, the run that I still can't believe they were basically giving up giving a field goal, and we still gave up a 19-yard touchdown run. So our run defense right now is at the worst I think I've seen the Steelers, and that's pretty much saying something considering we gave up 300 to Baltimore last year, in the last game of the season last year. But
right.
I agree, TC. I think Ramsey will handle Diggs if that's a one-on-one matchup there.
Mm-hmm.
I worry more about like what Philip was saying though, the opposite with Butte. The kid's coming into his own. He's finally got a quarterback now that has the potential to get him the ball on a consistent basis. And these are the guys that you got to worry about because he's young, he's fast. I still think Diggs got talent. Don't get me wrong, but I worry more about Butte right now. And he says I think the Steelers defense light switch game is they're going to look like the money that they are paid. I sort of agree. This is what these are both sort of saying. I sort of agree with both of these thoughts that I think this is the game the Steelers are gonna break out of that shell. They're gonna stop the run. They're gonna get maybe 4 or 5 sacks, maybe a big interception here. Causing May to. One thing about Drake May, and I scouted him a lot when he was in North Carolina. If you put pressure on this kid, like a lot of pressure, he can get happy feet and he can throw the ball off his back foot and make some bad passes. He did that his last year at North Carolina, which I think hurt him from being the first pick of the draft that year. He was in that range the whole time as being maybe the first overall pick. I think if the Steelers can stop the run, that's gonna be the main thing. That first drive is gonna mean a lot. And I think New England might know this. Don't be surprised if they come out and they play action, go deep first play. That's what I would call, being honest, a team that can't stop the run. You're going to get a team that can't stop the run. That first play from scrimmage, I'd be so tempted to put it in Ramondre's stomach, bring it out, and go deep to Butte. So don't be shocked. And you can say that Sports 5 will call it, but that's my call. The first play of the game for New England, especially if they get the ball for if Pittsburgh wins the toss and defers or whatever. I think don't be surprised that first play of the game is a big pass.
It could be, it very well could be. Benton has to step up today. He really, really has not been playing well at all. Cam Hayward had a little bit of a better game last week. He had that tip that led to an interception. And I think he's going to actually play pretty good today. And I'm hoping that Harmon gets some playing time.
I agree. I think just seeing him out there would be nice. I know he's a limited guy on Wednesday, sort of getting a little bit more practice time as the week went on. And by the way, William Akins, how you doing? William Akins is running. He does a Steeler pregame with John Phillips. He'll be starting out, I think, at 10:00 out at North Park. And guys, by the way, next Sunday, I don't have it. It's not in stone yet. There's a good chance we're going to be live at Shiloh Plates out in Mount Washington. And the game next week starts at 9:30 our time. It's in Ireland. So we're going to be out there in Ireland. We're gonna be talking to guys out there in Ireland at a tailgate. So we'll have a live tailgate from Ireland. We'll talk about the Vikings next week. Before we get going though, TC, are their running backs really a huge threat though? They are the weakest we've seen this year. I agree. They're probably the weakest out of the 3, but I've seen Ramondre Stevenson have huge games in this league. I witnessed Travion Henderson last year. I thought Travion Henderson was the better of the 2 running backs that came out between him and Quinshaw Judkins. And of course, Cleveland took the one that I didn't think was the better of the 2, which makes sense to me because Cleveland would do that. But I think Travion Henderson has the potential. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't gotten the ball up. If I'm New England's, if I'm Vrabel, I'm setting the run game up right now. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
having
what I would
Travion
do
Henderson.
too.
I'm having Travion get the ball, between 10 and 15 times and see if this kid's for real. Because this is this is a defense. People are gonna abuse this defense until we shut the door on it. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's the NFL, man. They're gonna pound the weaknesses until there's no until the Steelers make their adjustment, which hopefully this week they make their adjustment.
Well, when you look at the Steelers, being 31st in run defense, I do think these two guys, Henderson and Stevenson, have the potential to have their way, But if they're able to tighten things up, if they're able to, be able to outperform the Patriots offensive line, and keep in mind, these two guys are studs, but their left tackle and their left guard are rookies. But their left tackle was actually a 4th overall draft pick. Okay. So depending on where they run Stevenson, which gaps are going to be, having him, go through, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. It really is. I'm actually very excited about this game, JT. I really am.
I am too, because I think it's a turning point game. You can't go 1-2 with your 2 losses against the Patriots and Seahawks, who are probably 2 teams that are going to be outside looking in at the playoffs at the end of the year. You got to take advantage of these games.
Yeah.
Before we go, Philip, once again, A Plus Roofing, call 412-515-54666. A Plus Roofing is your Pittsburgh roofing company. Get your free estimate today. Get on www.aplusroofingexteriors.com. I've heard nothing but great things about Joey Campagna and A Plus Roofing. They are our roofing sponsors, so they're the official roofer of Sports Bible. So you need a roof, get a hold of them now, especially with the cold weather coming. We're probably going to start getting rain next week. Finally, I'm hearing it's supposed to rain. Maybe starting tomorrow. We got a little bit of drizzle last night, and I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what is this? What's this stuff called? We had a little drizzle.
Never heard of it before.
Yeah, like 7 o'clock. A little bit of water came down. I'm like, I didn't know it was supposed to rain. But once again, tomorrow night we'll be back at our normal time slot. We'll talk about the Patriots game with our rewind, and then next Sunday, it's not in stone yet, but I will make it official here in a day or two. We will be live at Shallow Plates up in Mount Washington early in the morning, because remember, the game starts at 9:30. I have a couple guys tailgating, and by 8:30 in the morning our time, which is I think is it would be 12:30. I think they're 4 hours ahead of us. Yeah, I think 4 hours.
They're 5 hours ahead.
5 hours. So they'll be halfway in a tank, but it'll be fun. Get some live Steeler fans out there talking about the big matchup against the Vikings. But Philip, real quick, prediction, score. Give me a score.
I am going with the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game 28-20.
Okay, I'm going Pittsburgh 34. I'm going New England 23. I think it's going to be I think they're going to have a little bit more of I think it's going to be close in the third quarter. I think the Steelers I do think it's going to be a splash play or 2 on defense. I think it's going to be a Watt.
Yeah, well, I see it.
A Watt strip fumble, maybe a recovery, a return, or I do see a big interception here somewhere down the road. I think the Steelers, their defense starts to look themselves, and I thank TC for you joining in, William Akins, everybody else out there. I see other people out there viewing. Remember, come back here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, Monday night. We do it right while the Monday Night Football games start, but we talk about the Steelers and what they did against New England. Philip, thank you. Enjoy the game today.
You too, John.
Let's hope for a win.
It's going to be a good one.
I agree.
I hope.